Coming up on NFL Daily, is one of Dee Ford or Justin Houston going to be traded by the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know if they can keep both. Speaking of trades, that's all we've got today. 3 teams in particular have showed the most interest in Antonio Brown. We'll see which one makes the most sense. And we got to do it. I don't like it, but we got to do it. The Josh Rosen talk, because the Kyler Murray to the Cardinals buzz remains. I'll break down why I'm still not buying it. All that and more coming up right now. Hello friends, you are watching NFL Daily presented by BetDSI. I am your host, Tom Downey. Coming off my bachelor party weekend, we're done. The body's never really going to be the same though after what we went through. But we'll break down the latest NFL trade rumors for you guys. First up, let's talk about Dee Ford and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the report from Adam Schefter, the Chiefs are going to tag Ford, and although they plan on playing with him, they will listen to trade offers. A big factor there is that they are moving to a 4-3 scheme, and they also know down the road Patrick Mahomes is going to get a ridiculously large contract, and they have to budget for that. Ford had a very good year, lots of forced fumbles, yes, the offsides that really hurt Kansas City, but he's an impact edge rusher. They will not let him leave for nothing. That's why they're going to tag him. I think in the end, he stays in KC at least for this year. But a player who might not be in Kansas City is Justin Houston. The report from Ian Rappaport is that the Chiefs are shopping Justin Houston. They've had trade talks centered on him. It's a money thing in Kansas City. You're going to have to pay Dee Ford $17 million per year, more if you extend him. Justin Houston is set to count $21 million against the cap. If you trade him, it's only $15.25 for the new team. Chiefs do have some dead money. Maybe you could get something good, though, for him. Now, if the Chiefs do move to a 4-3 defense, maybe if you keep both, you put Justin Houston at Sam potentially even, but I think that's a fair option there. It's a good question, I think, as to what the Chiefs do in the end. Let's say you can only pick one to keep. Who is it? Type JH for Justin Houston, and DF for Dee Ford. They're both great, but give me Dee Ford. Earlier, I had questioned if Houston was going to bring back much because of a recent string of injuries and a fairly hefty cap hit. I think I might have been wrong on that one, which happens time and time, or every now and then, I should say. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. One thing I was not wrong on this weekend, combine prop bets. I made so much money, and if you follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney, I sent them all out. You would have made money too. So get in on the action at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. You guys will not find a better betting deal out there than the one on BetDSI. We have to do it, folks. We absolutely have to do the Josh Rosen trade talks. It's the reality. So there are multiple reports out there that Arizona is going to take Kyler Murray. That means that they're going to trade Josh Rosen. Several NFL teams are allegedly interested if that's the case there. And for good reason. Had Josh Rosen come out this year, he would have been the number 1 quarterback. And despite there being multiple reports from various outlets, draft analysts, a bunch of New York ones, by the way, NFL Network, I am not buying it yet. Because it doesn't make sense for me for a team to trade up into the top 10 to get a quarterback and then take one number 1 overall and eat dead money. And remember, this time last year, everyone, myself included, was absolutely convinced Sam Darnold was going number 1. It was a lock in March. Ended up not happening. And I want to make one big note here, by the way. These reports that teams are convinced it's going to be Josh Rosen, the reporters are all focused and based out of New York. It's all coming from New York. I think it's the Giants. And I think the Cardinals are cool with it because they are building buzz that a team needs to trade up to number 1 to get Kyler Murray, trade down, get more picks for a roster that really, really needs it. Now, I am convinced it's not going to happen, and I've made that very clear on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. If I am wrong, for starters, I'm going to freezing cold takes myself. Don't worry, I got some fun stuff planned if I am wrong. But I want to know from you guys, what should be my punishment if I am wrong and Kyler Murray does get drafted by the Arizona Cardinals? Let me know in the comments section. Feel free to be creative. If there are some good ones, maybe we'll find a way to do it live during our NFL draft coverage. So get in the comments section and make sure you're subscribed to youtube.com/chatsportstv. Next up, Antonio Brown. Steelers GM says that interest in Brown has grown. There are 3 teams in particular, though, that have shown the most interest: the Oakland Raiders, the Washington Redskins, and the Tennessee Titans, which I find interesting. Tennessee, I think, makes sense there. They want another impact receiver. They had interest in Amari Cooper. The Raiders are the Raiders, no surprise there. And the Redskins, God, that would just be that's so perfect for them. Now, Antonio Brown, though, continues to hurt his trade value every time he opens his mouth. Here's his quote: "I don't even have to play football if I don't want to. I don't need the game. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. If they want to play, they're going to play by my rules." That is peak diva, folks. I don't want that guy on my team, because if he's not getting the ball enough, if he's not actively involved, he's going to throw a hissy fit. He's going to complain. In addition to this, with the whole, I need to have a good quarterback, I want a new guaranteed deal, it's all very confusing to me for Antonio Brown. I think he is trying like hell to get cut so that he can pick his own team. That's what I think is going on here. So would you want your team to trade for Antonio Brown? Give me a Y for yes and an N for no. Look, I don't think that I don't believe that in the end you'll end up seeing a scenario where something like that happens. I think that's going to be a big thing there. So we'll move to Derek Carr now here. That'll be our next one up in terms of the rumors, so stay tuned for this one. It's a good one. Now, Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, convinced it's not going to happen. I agree. I don't think this is going to happen. Now, there was the report from Bleacher Report that says the Raiders are shopping Carr at the Combine. But again, a $19.9 million salary, I think it makes the most sense for Oakland to stick with Carr for one more year. See if it works out. If it does, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, then maybe you reevaluate. Try and build it around Carr for now. Now, if he does get traded, I would be a bit surprised here. But maybe a team like Jacksonville gets desperate. I don't think so anymore. I don't think the Giants would either. And speaking of the Giants, we're still doing the Odell Beckham rumor thing. So this is why Dave Gettleman's so mad, by the way. Dave Gettleman says, we did not sign him to trade him. That is a no, right? That's no. And the articles from the New York media are that, why doesn't Dave Gettleman just say no? Is that not a no? Like, are we going to read that far into words? It has not in it. That's no. That's a negative. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I know it's lying season, and you can believe whatever you want because it's lying season. Who knows who's actually telling the truth there? But it's so weird to me that we keep doing the Odell Beckham stuff. Now, SNY, who wrote the He Didn't Say No article, says that they're not actively shopping Beckham, but they'd listen, which every NFL team does, and they'd want a first and more, and that head coach Pat Shurmur was furious at times with Odell Beckham, which, I mean, I can see why. He can be a bit of a head case at times. I will be stunned if Odell Beckham ends up getting traded this year. I think he's sticking in New York for an extended period of time because they didn't sign him just to trade him. Let's move to Jacksonville, where they are trying to trade people. First up is Malik Jackson. They're trying to move him because of his contract, and they got to make space for Nick Foles. He's going to count a lot of money if he gets traded. It's $13 million for a team. He kind of got benched a little bit down the stretch, in part because, well, they were out of the race, but was not as good this past season. I think in the end he ends up getting cut. And then speaking of trades, the Jags trying to do it again with Carlos Hyde, this time trading him away. They are shopping him in his $4.7 million cap hit, all of which the team that trades for him will take on. He didn't make much of an impact once Jacksonville made a move to pick him up. The Jags are trying to clear cap space for Nick Foles. I think he's going to sign there. I bet on BetDSI that he's going to sign there. I feel great about it. Hyde and Jackson, though, I think both those guys will end up being cut. They'll get signed for sure. Just very, very curious where they end up signing. Now, as I always do, guys, I'm wearing a Mizzen and Main shirt. Go check them out, comfortable.af. They're the best damn dress shirt out there. You guys are not going to find a better one. Very comfortable to sleep in, which I ended up doing during my bachelor party weekend because it was just long nights. All right, next up, the Dolphins trying to deal Ryan Tannehill. Now, Miami, they are calling the teams. They're not, getting calls, and why would they be? A nearly $19 million base salary for a quarterback? was just not that good. I mean, look at his numbers the past couple years. Dude, that's not starting caliber numbers. And yeah, injuries are a factor there. He will be a backup somewhere. In fact, he'll probably be a high-end backup. But I don't know what NFL team would trade for Ryan Tannehill. Jacksonville? No. The Redskins can't afford that contract. The Jets, who had Adam Gase, so that doesn't really make sense. They don't need to bring in big money quarterback. The Bengals, if they got rid of Andy Dalton because of the Zach Taylor connection. But in the end, I think Tannehill gets cut, finds the team as a high-end backup. I do not anticipate a trade. Now, perhaps the most interesting trade rumor because of the background behind it is Kevin Johnson, former first-round pick. Texans have had trade talks. Remember, they picked up his fifth-year option. It was a $9.1 million deal. That's what it's worth. Now, the fifth-year option is not guaranteed, except for injury. And Kevin Johnson missed almost all of last year with a concussion. He might not pass a physical. If that's the case, guaranteed for injury, and they can't cut him. That's why they're exploring a trade there. So monitor Kevin Johnson's situation. Going to be very fascinating what happens there. That's the Combine stuff, guys. The rumors come flowing, and stay tuned later on in the week. We'll have a brand new mock draft for you. We'll do some Combine winners and losers as well. Quite a lot of movers and fallers, unfortunately, on the NFL Combine this week.